hope you've had an awesome day so far. Thank you for joining me in my journaling process today. This spread was inspired by a gift wrapping paper that I've received a long time ago, and in which I really enjoyed these flowers that looked like they were doodled. So I decided to cut them out, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. So I just cut out as many as I thought would fit on the page nicely, and then I decide to mix some cheap craft paints. These are, I believe, from Michael's, and I'm just going to try to mix a color that is somewhat similar to the color from the wrapping paper. So I start off by mixing those three colors, and it's way too pink for me, so I keep on mixing and mixing, and it's not going in the direction that I want it to go. So I end up adding some black, and way too much of it. As you see, the whole thing turns black. And so I try to save the color by just adding more white and more red and more white, hoping that something will still come out of it. And I'm quite happy with this end result, although I did kind of waste a lot of paint because this is way too much. So then I thought I would stencil some of these words onto the page with that color, and of course I have way too much paint on my sponge, so as I'm lifting it here you can see it's not how it should be, obviously. But I don't know why at this point I still don't give up, and I keep trying on the other page, and it's also horrible. So I decided to just brush over it, because you know, you can always do something to save the spread. So I just decided to cover the whole spread with this paint, and so then I wasn't sure whether I was actually going to go all the way to the edges, but then I decided to go ahead and do that anyway. So once that's done, I have let it dry, and now I decide I still want those stenciling, or those words stenciled on there. So I just decide to take a black pen and just outline the words that I wanted to have. So, and then since I didn't like how that outline looked, I also decided to just fill these in. And at this point, I'm not really sure how I'm actually going to manage to do some writing on the page, because these words are so dominant that if I write on the page or over those words, I wasn't sure how that was going to work at all. But I decided to tackle that problem when I get there. So for now, I just wanted to fill out those words so that they look nice, and I'm happy with those. And then I was gonna worry about the next stage. So once I had completed that, I was thinking about how I could arrange the flowers on the page. So I just fiddle around with those a little bit until I then glue them down. So while you can watch me do that, I just wanted to tell you for today's spread, and this is also the reason why I chose this stencil today. I actually recently just found out that one of my friends / colleagues has an amazing blog, and the The name of the blog is abusybeeslife.com, and I will link that down in the description. So of course I had to go ahead and check that out right away, and I love it, totally love it. She writes about topics like self-help, productivity, parenting, travel. So she's a mother, and I think the aim of the blog was basically to help moms find a purposeful life, and yeah, just have some topics that might help other moms. But actually, so I'm not a mom, but all the topics are relevant for me just the same, whether I'm a mom or not. So it's really nice. I really encourage you to have a look. And she has a lot of the topics that I've been dealing with lately as well. So for today's spread, I went on her self-help section, and one of the topics she has there is 7 simple but meaningful ways to enrich your life. So these are what I'm actually putting down on my page, and I would like to read them to you. So she goes into them in depth, but of course they're not going to fit on my spread. So I went with a list. So she says, enrich your life daily with choices you make. Here are 10 little decisions I make daily that I think will help you enrich your life. So starting off with letting compassion speak louder than criticism, keeping an eye out for serendipity, listening to intuition, not just logic, never trading in authenticity for expectations, giving away more than we keep, embracing the journey, not just a destination, remembering that life is short, to let someone else have the last piece. That's sometimes really hard. Seeing opportunities as obstacles. I love that one. And my favorite one is actually the last one, which is letting the inner voice speak louder than outer voices. And I think that's a real challenge sometimes, because we all, I think, tend to listen to what others have to say, and it's really hard sometimes then to trust your own voices and just go by what your voices are telling you. That's definitely something that I know I have to work on as well. So that is the spread for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.